So now I'm looking at synonyms for laughing and looking for the fives at the dead center, and it's already amazing what I'm seeing. Because remember the verb laughing. This is the revelation, the joy of laughing. It has 15, 30, 15 at the dead center. Smiling has fives at the center. And now I'm looking at all synonyms, okay, based off of Google Dictionary here. All synonyms for laughing. And we're looking for fives at the dead center, and it's already not disappointing. Like at the center of the word chortling is 50, which equals joy, with the T at the perfect center, flanked in RL, 30. The joy of guffawing. Guffawing has FAW at the center, which equals 30, flanked no less in FI, which is another 15, flanked no less in UN, which is another multiple of 5. So what God ordained in the word laughing is identical with what he ordained in the letters guffawing. This is first time seeing this, where it's triple 5 from the inside out. Fa, Fi, UN. So there's a 50 right there in the Fi, UN perfectly. So the joy of laughing, the joy of chortling, the joy of guffawing. This is massive revelation. Okay? So I'm gonna excitedly check all these verbs one by one for the first time and see the fives staring us in the eyes. Okay, let's just check them all. Now I'm gonna use the code, oh my gosh, cackling. Cackling equals 60. Oh my, are you kidding me? Cackling also does triple perfectly from the inside out, and it completes the puzzle perfectly. This is disturbing. Cackling has, man, you can go KI 20, CL 15. Cackling is loaded with fives. For symmetry, you have 35, 15. So cackling perfectly has joy, 50 at the dead center. And then the CG book ends at another 10 points. Done. First human to see this. 5, the number of joy. The joy of cackling. So the joy of laughing, the joy of smiling, chortling, guffawing, cackling. What's next on the list? Giggling I wrote down while getting these words from the Lord in my head on my bed, and I was writing it down, pen, ink, paper. Giggling was one of the words that I wrote down. And giggling, okay, I know has fives at the center. Just like the word tickling, okay? So the dead center, now you take the 4 letters at the center of giggling to give you 35, okay? There's your 5 at the center of giggling. Beautiful, okay? So, onward we press. Tittering, that's loaded with 5s. That's, tittering is a word for laughing. I mean, the word titter is screaming out. Hold on. Oh, of course, the E is at dead center. I'm already happy. Tittering. There, 5 is at the dead center of tittering. And then we're going to use the code to go through all English verbs to do this programmatically, but I couldn't resist, because laughing is like, to me, that is the brilliance of joy on display. And so we're looking at synonyms for laughing, just as a first manual, exciting poke around. Oh yeah, so the center, the broader center, we're going to use the code to just totally analyze this perfectly and exhaustively. So tittering has 5 at the dead center, and then the broader center is 95. So we're just pushing for the symmetrical 5s. That's the revelation. So sniggering. Okay, so sniggering. Now I'm being absolutely picky, as I should. There's a ton of 5s in sniggering, but we want dead centrality. So in sniggering, you need to take the central 6 letters, which themselves contain many teams of 5s, to give you 55. So at the center of sniggering is 55. And you can split that into 5, 5 times 5, and another 5 times 5. The joy of sniggering. That's joy. God knows. God is aware of how much you have sniggered in life. And he's literally counting. He's like, man, lots of joy there. You've got to produce more. Sniggering kind of like snickering. Okay, so let's analyze the word. Now you're in love with these words. And what's cool about sniggering and snickering is the bookends make love. So you have love and joy. Okay, SNNG is 54, which equals love. Oh man, this is just giving it to me. And I've seen God do this many times, just like in the word giggling. Oftentimes I've seen this so much now, so it's a new hunt, where the first letter of a set of, I had the word squirrel come to me the other day, because I saw a squirrel, and I know God's revealing fives to me. And I instantly realized there are many, I repeat, many words that have an introductory letter. Many times it's a +1 letter, a soft value letter like S or G. And then that gets followed by the pure 5 fest, like in squirrel. The Q on is pure 5, so when you pluralize to squirrels, now the center is the joy of God in squirrels, okay? Same thing with sniggering. The S, you can really drag it out. It's a segue character. It's the lead into the ecstasy. Sniggering. Is anyone here sniggering for joy? I sure hope so. So sniggering. And then your lips accelerate, bang, at the end, and that's where the pure 5s come in. So then the NNG adds 35 points to the smoking hot 55 that we already talked about at the dead center. Okay. Now, are you kidding me? Double take. I kid you not. The dead center 6 letters of snickering equals the dead center 6 letters of sniggering. Perfectly. I kid you not. I kid you not, by God whom I serve. The center of snickering is the center of sniggering. Both equal the great 55, which is a screaming number for joy. I have to give a plug for a personal name of someone. Brianna equals 55. And she is a very joy-inducing person. She's a very joyful person. And I'm just saying, who God has ordained to be in my life in recent history. And he speaks to me about people and their names. And anyways, okay, chances are if you know someone who's Brianna, they're a very joyful person. And they bring joy everywhere they go. Anyways, so snickering and sniggering have 55 at the dead center. The CK equals the GG. E equals E. So now, wow, genius. Genius. But you see that? It's all for the number 5, the number of joy. So let's keep going. Man, I can't resist preaching on the teeter-totter. You know, when as a kid, when you went to the how do they spell the modern teeter-totter? I just need to preach the most obvious thing about teeter-totter. Practically every letter divides by 5, except for the R at the end. So, there, the joy of the teeter-totters. There, see, now I completed the puzzle with the S. RRS now divides by 5. In fact, it equals 55. And everything else divides by 5. I kid you not, by God Almighty, whom I serve. This is the revelation of God. Did you know that God ordained teeter-totters? I kid you not. You can buy these things online. You can buy teeter-totters, like, everywhere. Everyone knows what a teeter-totter is. It's like the first item for joy, because it teaches kids to stare in each other's faces and enjoy the face-to-face contact. And the rush of blood flow as they jump up and down. And they're looking at each other's faces in love, just like the Holy Trinity. And they're laughing their heads off because they're experiencing love. They're getting fresh air and exercise. Blood flow equals love, joy. That's a word from the Lord. But I am shocked. I am shocked, as always, all over again. Do the math on teeter-totter. Every letter divides by 5 except the 2 R's. Well, pluralize. Teeter-totters. Now RRS equals 55 perfectly. And everything else divides by 5. The joy of God and man in teeter-totters. As I speak, there are millions, perhaps billions, but I would say millions, of young children in particular that are laughing their heads off in joy, perfectly to the joy of God on teeter-totters worldwide. And the math on the letters is flawless to glorify the number 5, the number of joy, God, His joy. So what do teeter-totters come to? 190 in total. And like I said, the screaming 5s in there. You can pick it apart into the triple joy easily. I mean, it's the most embarrassing joy fest. You can take 2 T's and 2 E's. You got 4 E's to work with. So take 2 T's with 2 E's, that's 50 points. So you already get joy, joy, then the RRS was 55, then everything else will round it out with 35, something like that. Teeter-totters. Now I'm about to run out of memory chip again. Oh, it makes me want to look at seesaws, because that's another famous, that word is coming up on a Google search, because apparently that's another. So I have no idea if seesaw, it'll contain tons of 5s, but it's not quite as perfect as teeter-totters, definitely. But there's lots. Yeah, there's 5s at the center of seesaw. Glaring, the 2 E's in the essay. 30 is at the center of seesaw. If you say seesaws, you still get 5s at the dead center, 25. So again, yes, 5s at the center of seesaw. It's the number of joy. This is huge. This is huge. And if you want to solve